Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Dear esteemed viewers, this year's Ramadan promised new and exciting programs on ASO Television, the Guide Da'awah Services, in collaboration with ASO Radio and Television Services, presents The Guide at Sahur. It's an ideal and balanced Islamic teaching with Dr. Mustapha Kannike. The Guide at Sahur, designed to make 2023 Ramadan a memorable one for all our Muslims faithful. The Guide at Sahur, from 4:30 to 5 a.m. every day, with Dr. Mustapha Kannike of the Department of Islamic Studies, Federal University of Lafia, Nasarawa State. The Guide at Sahur is showing on DSTV, Channel 392, Free TV, Channel 507, and on Star Time, Channel 127, or on all the Guide Da'awah services and also radio and television social media platforms. Please send your financial contribution to Taj Bank, account number 000-395-0637, account name The Guide Integrated Da'awah Service, Jazakumullahu Khairan. For further information, please call +2348 108 521 916 or +2348 131 524 052. Ramadan Kareem.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وبه نستعين. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد وبارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. Dear viewers, you are welcome to this episode of The Guide at Sahur. We give thanks to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that has been giving us the life, sound earth, and all the wherewithal to handle the Ramadan the way we want. We fast, we wake up for the Taraweeh, for Qiyam al-Layl, and up to date we are still in Ramadan. We are moving together with Ramadan, and we pray that Allah accept it from us as act of ibadah. This is The Guide at Sahur, brought to you by The Guide Da'awah Services in collaboration with ASO Radio and Television Services, Abuja. You may watch the program on ASO Television DSTV 392, Free TV 507, Star Time 127. By the end of this program, I will ask you a question. If you attempt and you get it correctly, inshallah there will be huge prize for you. Your answer should be sent to the inbox of The Guide Dawah Media on Facebook, and you may notify us by dropping a comment on the page, and you may also give notification by sending text message or WhatsApp to the number that scroll below, and the number is 081 085 21916. As usual, we have a guest here today, and I promise you that the guest is inshallah somebody you benefit a lot from his fountain of knowledge. But before we go to our guest today, what do I have for you? What I have for you is to remind you that everyone is a leader. Kullukum ra'i wa kullu ra'in mas'ulu an ra'iyatihi. Everyone is a leader, and everyone shall be questioned. Everyone shall be queried on how you have dealt with your subjects. This is going to the leaders primarily, but it goes to everybody, because we should stop looking at the people at the top as if they are the only one that answer leaders as far as Islam is concerned. The question that Allah will ask a president is the same thing that Allah will ask an elder brother that is in charge of his younger brothers. The same question that Allah will pose to somebody who is the father and has children under him. How have you been treating them equally? Husband that has more than one wife must be equal, must be just, must be fair. Everybody is a leader. And we normally tell ourselves about a particular hadith that the Prophet said that Sab'atun yuzilluhumullahu yawma la zilla illa zillahu. That there are 7 categories of people that Allah will put under His shade. The day there will not be any other shade except that of Allah. The first among the 7 categories mentioned by the Prophet is Imam Adil, a just leader, a fair leader, a leader that is ready to deal with everybody equally, a leader that is ready to handle everybody without any discrimination, a leader that is ready to be nice and good to everybody, a leader that is not tribalistic, a leader that is not doing nepotism in the way he administrates among people, he administers people. You see, everybody should learn from the leadership style of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And this make the Prophet to say that innal muqsitina inda Allahi ala manabir min nur. He now explain further that alladina ya'diluna fi amalihim wa halihim wa ma walaw. He explain who the leaders are, who the true leader are, who the sincere leaders are, who the the acceptable leaders as far as Islam is concerned are. He said, al-muqsitun, those who are just among the leaders, inda Allah, to Allah, ala manabirin min nur, they will be on top with light shadowing on them. When it is the gathering of Qiyamah, Allah will place the leader above other people. Not only that they will be under his shade, they will also be on top of people. Everybody will be able to see leader on top. Ala manabirin min nur. Each of them on the minbar, on a platform, and that platform will be made of light. Everything about just leaders will be bright. Just leader will have a brighter life. We have a brighter living, and on the day of judgment, Allah will honor them. Why can't we all be just? Why can't every father be just on his children? Don't discriminate the boys, the girls. The Prophet said it to somebody who told the Prophet he was going to give his male child a particular gift. The Prophet asked him, is it the same gift you are going to give all the other children? He said no. The Prophet told him, Taqillah fi awladik, fear Allah in the way you deal with your children. That is an example of challenges before everybody who is seen as a leader. After the Prophet had already told us that leaders are going to be placed on the light of Allah, he now explained a little who the true leaders are. He said, alladhina ya'diluna fi amalihim wa ahlihim wa ma walaw, in 3 different categories. The Prophet said leaders are those who are just fi amalihim, where they work, wa ahlihim, their family, wa ma walaw, their subjects. Let's expatiate on each of these 3. The Prophet said min fi amalihim, where they work. You as the supervisor, you are supervising many people, and your supervision on one person is different from your supervision on another person. Somebody, whatever he does, you overlook. Somebody, whatever good thing he does, you overlook, but any mistake you emphasize. You are the HOD, you are the director, you are the executive secretary, and all the categories of leaders. We need to know that the Prophet emphasized on this, and Allah is watching how we deal with our subjects, those who see you as their boss, and every one of them, good morning sir, good morning sir, good morning sir, but inside you know you don't have any good for them. They only tell you good morning, but nothing good for them in your own mind. This should not be according to the teachings of Islam. Wherever you work, try to be just and fair to the people under you. Then the Prophet said, wa ahlihim, your family. your family. For instance, anyone that has two wives, the Prophet told us, Man kana lahu imra'atan wa lam ya'dil baynahuma ja'a yawm al-qiyamah wa sikkuhu sakitun. How come I call anyone that has two wives and he is not just between the two wives? He loves one, he honors one, he fulfills all the demands of one, but the other one, kal mu'allaqa, he just let her, he just like a worn out clothes that you don't wear again, that you just hang somewhere. Anyone that does that, the Prophet told us that ja'a yawm al-qiyamah, when it is the last day, ja'a, such a person will come, wasiku usakitun, half of his body will go down, he will not walk straight, part of his body will bend, and according to explanation of some scholars, everything that Allah has given him to become one eye, one lip, one hand, one leg, everything one, because he was good and nice to one of the wives, and he was cruel and wicked on another one. Wa ahlihi, a good leader must be just among his family. Then the Prophet now said, not only that, wama walau, and the people under him. Everyone has people under him, and this is more challenging to the governments, president, governor, local government chairman, minister, councillor, anyone that is being appointed or elected by people, because people have trust in you. That's why they put you there. You must not betray their trust. You must not look at one side and abandon the other side. Try to be just. Ideally, aqrabu litaqwa. Try to be just, and that shows piety. Justice is an indication of piety. ولا يجرمنكم شنعان قوم ألا تعدلوا اعدلوا وأقرب للتقوى. So we have to be fair, we have to be just as leaders. Please, it is challenging, everybody should take it. May I stop here so that after a short moment we come and meet together the guests of today. So keep waiting, please. MashaAllah, la quwwata illa billah. Dear viewers, you are welcome back. This is the second segment of today's episode, and I'm sure you are waiting to see who our guest today. Who is our guest today? He's an educationist, he's a scholar, he's a teacher, and of course, he's an imam. And I'm very sure by the end of this episode, we thank Allah for having him in the studio today. Our guest today is no other person but Ustaz Sheikh Umar Rufai. Please, let's go to Ustaz and receive our taslim, for he has just joined us here today. Ustaz, please say taslim to our viewers.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Ustaz, Ramadan has been described by different people in different ways. One description that I would like us to look at, because we are almost going to the end of it by now. And if that description is correct about Ramadan, then there is need to make emphasis that people normally go for a retreat, workshop, conferences to improve on their knowledge, their skill and training. Ramadan by some people is described as training period, training ground, that is meant to, reinforce what is already in people in terms of Islamic teachers. I want to know, this description, is it correct? Yeah, Ustaz. And why do you give the answer you are yet to give? Says, is Ramadan actually the way it is described?
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وأصلي وأسلم على من رفع الله في العالمين ذكره سيد الأولين والآخرين سيدنا محمد المصطفى صلى الله عليه وسلم. Our viewers, let us look at Ramadan and regard it as an institution whereby we are given a training,
MashaAllah,
giving to the end. It's just few days, like what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned, that ayyamun ma'adudat. It's just a very limited period, because we are talking about 12 months. Out of it you have one out of the 12. That means the fraction here is very low.
MashaAllah.
Very low, because it's not up to 10%. So here is serving as training ground. That's why it's filled with a lot of activities.
MashaAllah.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned that kutiba alaykum as-siyamu kama kutiba ala alladhina min qablikum la'allakum tattaqun. That fasting is prescribed for you, like it was being prescribed for those that came before you, other generations, so that we earn what is called taqwa. You learn about taqwa, you attain taqwa, so that you understand how you will be obedient to your own Lord, how you will be obedient to the authority, how you will be obedient to one another in case of you found yourself under anybody.
MashaAllah.
Because the major definition of taqwa is not just fear of Allah, but rather how dutiful you are to your own Lord and your own Creator, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
MashaAllah.
That means here you are to be so obedient to Him. What you have been commanded to observe, try as much as you can to see that you observe them. What you have been prevented from committing, try to distance yourself away from it, and that is what is called taqwa.
MashaAllah.
Utmost obedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so obedient to Him. Now, Ramadan is there for me and you to be trained on that obedience to Allah. So that after Ramadan, that obedience should remain not just within the period of Ramadan. That is why we learn a lot from Ramadan. Politically, spiritually, economically, socially, and what have you. You will all learn from Ramadan. You see, whoever is going to any institution is just going to spend few years to learn. Let's say you go as a medical doctor, you go to university and you study medicine for that period of 7 years, and you have graduated. How many years are you going to spend after the graduation is much?
Exactly. Just a little period of time to study.
Then now what remains is application. That is how Ramadan should be. We have learned from Ramadan. Then now the remaining months from Shawwal to Sha'aban, it should be a period of implementation
of what we've learned.
What we have learned.
MashaAllah.
Let us not just look at Ramadan. It's only the period that we are going to fast. After Ramadan, continue fasting. Spiritually, you are raising your own position. You are devoting yourself. You are coming closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
MashaAllah.
Have your own other fasting, supplicatory fasting. Is it Sittu Shawwal? Is it the Arafat day? It's Taswa, Ashura, and what you have. Go and continue with that fasting. 3 days in the month, that's Mondays, Thursdays, and what have you. Not only that, during Ramadan you recite Quran. That recitation of Quran should continue even after Ramadan. Not just immediately after Ramadan you cover your Quran
and that's so.
Till next Ramadan.
That means there is no implementation. Subhanallah.
You see, as we are taught even economically that we should learn much about Ramadan. We are not asked that during Ramadan is the time that we spend much. No, we have to spend less on what we are what you are eating should be less. It shouldn't be much. If you are eating more than what you are eating
before Ramadan,
it means you have not yet have a good understanding about the
economic teaching. MashaAllah.
You have to know that there is need for you to reduce what you eat, because health-wise you are going to be well.
If you reduce the things you consume.
I'm not a medical doctor, but
so they say.
But reality is that, in fact, Prophet Muhammad
sallallahu alaihi wasallam,
sumu tasahhu,
MashaAllah,
you fast and you become healthy. So health-wise, you earn from Ramadan, you learn from Ramadan. Then now, after Ramadan, try to see that you minimize your consumption. Eat what is reality. Don't eat beyond reality of your body.
Yes.
The doctors are saying most of our sickness is because of what we
eat,
what we consume.
What our body does not need.
Yes, we are taking it. Ramadan is telling you that you should minimize your own eating.
MashaAllah.
Not only that, politically as a leader, you should know that by the time you are in Ramadan, that means people are under your care. People are moving here, there, that you may not know them, but now you are being given a guide in order to test you to know how they are feeling. It means some of those you are leading, the subjects, some cannot eat, some may not be eating well. Now you are asked to stay away from eating for whole months.
So that
every day you cannot eat.
You now experience the same thing they feel. MashaAllah.
So as a leader, we have a feeling that, so this is the way my people are feeling, I must make sure that I do what is right.
Allahu Akbar.
So that you live well. And socially, you live together. Because now during Ramadan, you see everybody coming together, giving this one, giving that one, helping this one, helping that one. Would they thought that inshallah you will earn reward, but that reward should continue even after Ramadan. Giving out to continue even after Ramadan. Whatever you are doing, open your hands of mercy to others. Let it continue even after Ramadan, because it's a training ground. Not only that, our brothers and sisters should be always trying to understand whatever they are doing, they should do it because of Allah. During Ramadan, as you know, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam in Hadith al-Qudusi, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, "As-sawmu li wa ana ajzi." Fasting is for me, and I'm doing that for what fasting, because of Allah. Because nobody will eat and drink and come out to have in mind that he is fasting. He knows that he's not fasting. Because if you like, you can come, you can enter your room, eat, drink, and come out and say, well, fasting.
Yes.
And everybody will.
Yes, and deceive people.
You cook, you will see food you will not eat. You see how you will not come close to her. You see this, you will not take, because of what? Because of your own fear of Allah. That means what is needed for us to do in everything of our own life, whether spiritual, political, economic, social, educational, and what have you. Wallahi, we should do it because of Allah.
Allahu Akbar.
If we do it because of Allah, we will earn the reward. If it's not done because of Allah, the reward is null and void.
That is another spiritual teaching of Ramadan. MashaAllah.
By it. So now we are in Ramadan. We are about finishing Ramadan, but let us invite the culture that we learn from Ramadan and transfer it to month of Shawwal up to Sha'ban, so that we go back to another training ground in the year 1445 if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala spare our life. So Ramadan is a period of training.
MashaAllah. This is a very clear explanation. This is a very clear explanation. And one other thing that I believe you like to mention, that Ramadan train us about is this issue of recitation of the Quran. People recite Quran that before the end of Ramadan, somebody will tell you, I've completed Quran 3 times, 4 times. Most Quran be recited only in Ramadan. What is the value of recitation of the Quran even outside Ramadan?
Allah, we have to be careful.
Subhanallah.
We are reciting Quran from min ilafin ila ilaf, from the beginning to the end. We recite the whole Quran. But what is the content of the message? And not only that, you hear, you see everywhere tafsir going on. In order to learn and understand the contextual message of Quran. If you learn about Quran, you know about the message of the Quran. What is needed is implementation.
Allah.
وَآتُوا الْيَتَامَى أَمْوَالَهُمْ is in Quran. Make sure that if orphans are with you, make sure that you give back their own property. Don't in any way play with it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, inna Allah ya'murukum an tu'addu al-amanati ila ahliha. It's Quran that made mention that Allah is commanding you that you should turn the trust to the owner. Whatever is not yours can never be yours unless and only by the owner. You have to turn. Then amana should be part of what we should be implementing in our own day. If we are not implementing amana and we come and recite Quran, the Quran may be a curse to us.
MashaAllah.
Because you know the content, you know the message, and you refuse to implement it, then what are you doing? So we have to know how to recite Quran, learn about how to recite it, understand the contextual message of Quran, then implement the message of Quran. Then you have complete guide on how Quran is being recited, understood, and also implemented. Then you have peace with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Allah. I think everyone can now see the reason why Quran is being recited and why we should not only recite it in Ramadan and outside Ramadan, because recitation of the Quran is very, very important. It helps us to understand our purpose in life, and we must not just recite it. We should make sure we learn about the meaning, the contextual meaning, and we must implement it, because this is about implementation. If Ramadan is training ground and we want to implement what we learn, the Quran that we recited therein, we must also implement what we learn in it. So we give thanks to Allah, and this is where many of us need to make adjustment. We should make sure that everything we learn in the tafsir, like Ustaz said, we apply them to our personal life. I think at this juncture we have to be grateful to Allah, and we have to pray that He reward our Ustaz, our Sheikh Ustaz Umar Rufai, abundantly, because he has touched light every aspect that we like to know, so that we know the purpose of Ramadan and what it must be done, what it must be allowed to do in our life after the period of Ramadan. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. At this moment we draw the curtain of today's episode, but the question is this: for the ayyi alahi rabbikuma tukadhiban, how many times is it mentioned in the Quran? I'm not saying in a particular surah, but in the entire Quran, how many times is for the ayyi alahi rabbikuma tukadhiban mentioned? State it with proof. Inbox the guide Da'wah media on Facebook. You may notify us on the page, and you may also send your notification to the number under, that is 081-085-21916. Till we meet again tomorrow. Ramadan Kareem. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.